She's
I
like,
know.
don't take another step. Don't make me do this.
Yeah, and I love that scene after, he tries to rape Rosalind, and then that's when Mickey comes in and kills him, of course. And then we cut to the scene when Jeremy is basically trying to undersell Mickey on his own pot farm. And he's telling him, all this inconvenience and stuff like that. It's scaring away customers. So it's the price of your stock basically is going down because of all this interference. So I'll give it to you for a quarter of what I was going to offer you before. And then Mickey basically explains to him he knows that Matthew was working with Dry Eye, and he was the reason why all this shit was going on. And I love the scene where he's like, I'm a forgiving man, but you touch my wife, that's unexcusable. He's like, and I want my pound of flesh. He's like, I don't care where it comes from, but you're gonna give it to me. And if you're not man enough to do it yourself, I think he says Bunny. I think Bunny's the big guy, like the bodyguard or whatever he is, his bodyguard. And he's like, Bunny will take it off for you if you don't know where to go, because he's handy with the knife. And he's like, so go ahead and go in that freezer, send me my $400 million that you were gonna give me, and then I want that pound of flesh. And I was like, damn, like Mickey Pearson is definitely he's a gangster.
Yeah. We didn't talk about how it's pretty interesting. He's like clearly an American that's come over to Britain to start this, and it's interesting because he's running like this super illegal harvesting like pot or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's American, so it's like, I wonder what, like, why go?
He's like a cowboy in England. Yeah, I love the way how he explains how he does it with like buying the land of a lord. That kind of when a lord dies and their estate goes to their next of kin or whatever, whoever's next in line, but the government takes 60% of whatever their inheritance is. But so he comes in and he pays them what the government took away in order to use part of their land to farm to do his illegal pot fields or whatever. And what else? Do you think? I know in the end when Mickey gets kidnapped by the Russians, we're watching it again. I was thinking because the toddlers, they call coach. They're like, "Hey, coach, don't worry. We're gonna take care of this for you." Was their intent to kill Mickey?
Yeah, they thought so that's where the plot gets a little muddled. But the reason why the coach's guys, the toddlers, went after Mickey is because they thought that for some reason he had the coach hostage, that they were holding him against his will. So that's why they went on the attack to like stop to take out Mickey. But it just so happens that the Russians had just abducted Mickey and he's in the back seat. So then they end up opening fire with like AKs and killing the Russians, therefore actually saving Mickey's life, presumably.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. I was just, like you said, yeah, it is a little, that's where the plot kind of gets a little tricky.
They thought, something that had happened to Coach, or that they were going to help Coach by doing that. And it was just like those kids just keep getting deeper and deeper into doing the wrong things. But in this case, it worked out, which is a very, very Guy Ritchie move.
Yeah, everything works out in the end. in the most inconvenient or unconditional way. I don't know, that ending was really cool, and I love how, what's his name? Fletcher, right? Fletcher is the one who's basically he's going over that whole scenario, and it's in a script that he's trying to sell, because it cuts to a bigwig a bigwig at Miramax, and he's like, oh, so he lived, or like he died, and he's like, oh no, we leave it open, for the sequel, and so this whole time Fletcher's been trying to sell this the story, I guess, of Mickey Pearson to the bigwigs in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's very kind of tongue in cheek or meta that he did that, because it's like, obviously Miramax helped release The Gentleman, so it's kind of like, and
you see the posters of the men from U.N.C.L.E. behind them.
Yeah, and I think there's a rock and roller one somewhere in there too.
Yeah.
So it's very much playing, playing with real world stuff, which is cool. Even the title of the screenplay that Fletcher has written supposedly is called Bush, and Bush was the original title for the film. It was that and Tough Guys, I believe, was the original
Yeah,
title.
I think the Gentleman is a lot better.
Yeah, it kind of feels, even the way that this is shot and stuff, it kind of reminds me of The Kingsman a lot, even the font and...
Oh yeah, especially the clothing, their style.
Yeah, it's very
clean,
very poppy.
And sophisticated. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Which is funny, why I love Colin Farrell so much is like it's called The Gentleman, but he's more of like has like a hooligan style, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
yeah. He's wearing his tracksuit. All of them wear tracksuits.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty good film. Just there's some certain things that I feel like that were thrown in there that don't really add anything, apart from shock value, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So once again, another hot take. Wes is saying that Guy Ritchie is a racist towards Asians, and Charlie Hunnam is a better actor than Matthew McConaughey. Just sort of making that clear here. You heard it here first, people.
Also, another big negative thing is, Rosalind is pretty much outnumbered. It's like 1-6 as far as female actors.
Right.
Even though her garage is filled with what look like women co-workers,
mechanics.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome, but you absolutely did nothing with that at all.
Yeah, it was kind of just like, you see them for like 2 seconds, and then they go back to the office. Upstairs, yeah.
And I'm just like, and not taking anything away from Michelle Dockery, because that was originally supposed to be Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So but Michelle held her own, and she did really good, man. She definitely, she made me appreciate Matthew McConaughey being on screen when they were on screen together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they played off of each other very well.
Yeah,
the chemistry between them was great.
Yeah, I liked Mickey a lot more when he was on screen interacting with her, as opposed to being alone. So yeah, shout out to Michelle Dockery for being like the only woman in this and completely killing it.
Yeah. One last thing I want to cover. I don't know. I just really enjoyed that music video. I thought it was really cool. And like you said, it's kind of Box's Bush. It kind of just gets in your head once you watch it. And apparently Ernie, he is the character, the actor who played Ernie. His name's Bugsy Malone, and he's actually a rapper. So,
yeah, famous. Makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, he's a big time rapper over there, in the UK. And I think he's getting trying to make his way over here to the States. But yeah, I think that's cool. I think he did pretty good for the role that he had. I thought it was very good. Might have a future in acting as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's all. That's the only thing that I wanted to touch on too. Just the fact that he's actually a rapper, and I thought that was cool. You got some Swan facts for us? Let's do it.
I do. All right. So, Guy's reasoning behind him using marijuana as the drug of choice for the film is due to his fascination with the UK being unable to legalize marijuana use so long as there's a queen around. So it's basically old values stopping modern progress.
Okay, that makes sense.
Which kind
That's
of
crazy. It's not legal there.
Yeah, they refuse to do it, which is. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but it's kind of like, damn, that's insane.
That's crazy.
The Gentleman was first going to be a television series that would have focused around the character of Raymond, who is Charlie Hunnam in the film. However, the studios involved ended up wanting a movie instead, with the possibility of a show later on.
Yeah, I think a movie worked out better, but then I can also see why Raymond is so much more of a main character rather than Mickey, even though Mickey is basically the face of the film, I would say. Yeah,
agreed. Hugh Grant gives one of his best performances in years as a ballsy journalist, or journo, attempting to blackmail and flirt shamelessly with our Ray character. Grant shot his scenes in just 5 days.
Oh wow, that's crazy. I think that amazes me that he's throughout the entire film. You know, he's in the entire film, almost, you know, every other scene or whatever. But filmed all that in 5 days. That's crazy. The movie magic.
Yeah, I feel like he's as much screen time as Charlie Hunnam, probably.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. You said journo. It brought me back to Green Street Hooligans.
Yep, I had to, man. I had to.
He's a journo.
He's a goddamn journo. Especially because, and it's important to point this out, the reason why he even wrote in that whole press kind of plot point is because the journalists over there are notorious for being kind of nasty and bad people or whatever. So him writing that in was kind of like taking a jab at at least UK journalists. As well. So it's pretty interesting. Oh, going back to Hugh Grant. So not only did he shoot his scenes in 5 days, I think he had to create basically what's known as a cheat sheet for his dialogue. But I guess right before shooting began, his car was broken into and the cheat sheet was stolen.
Oh no.
But you could never tell because he still killed it, so good on him. Ritchie is a big lover of fashion, which is why all of his characters are so striking throughout this film. As are they always, I feel like. This is Guy Ritchie with fuck you money. You know, doing what he does best, but like very flashy and very great editing. That's something that really stands out, is that the editing on this and just the color grading and everything was just beautiful. Even the outstanding like credit sequence in the beginning was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
When you think Mickey was killed, and then we find out later that it was they just kind of set you up to think that, which is pretty clever, because there's a lot of movies nowadays that will show you, like for example, like Don't Breathe, they'll show you the ending and then you go back and you play through how we get there, but there's no real twist. It's just like, no, that's where it ends. You know, so it was refreshing that that there was that little twist there, that Ray saves Mickey. But I think this is my final one. He also does not hold table readings, but actually holds extensive rehearsals the day of whatever the shooting schedule is. So say they will rehearse a scene, and if it's not going well or if something sounds unnatural,